It has been hailed by many that I've met in the community by many names. Most notorious gun made, the gun of infamy. My favorite one, however, is Nerf Gun of Secrets. And that's exactly what this is. This is the Nerf Gun of Secrets. But there are other advances that I've done on other weapons that are not necessarily authored on this gun. One gun was known as an Ultra Retaliator. The predecessor to the R-Spec was the Ultra, and the Ultra used a 4 kilogram Stampede spring mated with a 5 kilogram orange moderate spring. It had a total yield of 9 kilograms, and it was capable of ranges of 170 yards. It was a very good gun, but it had problems with it. The Ultra denotes that the outer spring is a non-stock spring. The R-Spec, the big difference between the R-Spec was that the inner spring was the most powerful. But it had other issues with feeding, jamming, also containing the two springs. What finally outdid the project, and I just took the guns and mated them with 5 kilogram springs and sold them. Aaron Conception of Norfolk actually owns one of the original Ultra Retaliators mated with a 5 kilogram spring. I came up with something very, very well that I never implemented again. It was a brass tube guide. Now everybody knows that the Retaliator piston, this one being an Xplorer piston, is shorter than the actual guide length. And so what happens is usually this will go into the spring. Yes, this is a real hefty spring, and it will be guided by that. But what happens if your spring is maybe a bigger diameter, like let's say this? Okay. What happens if you're using dual springs? Not the best idea in the world. So how do you make this line up? Simple. You throw a guide on there, and you work on it so that it's on there. Now, as you can see, it can barely fit, but I have to shave this down to fit on the inside of 9/16. As everybody knows, the Retaliator's piston assembly is about 9/16 in size. It is not small enough, however, to be put in a brass tube. So what you have to do is you have to make consistent strokes. Now notice the front. I'm not sanding down the front. There's a good reason for that. Make it easier to tack on at the end. The first one I made was a 9/16 brass tube. I did it with ABS. The problem is I scuttled it for the reason that I had to throw about half a tube of epoxy in there. Now, half a tube of epoxy is about 15 cc's of epoxy, and I had the whole thing in there. Aaron Conception is a lucky buyer. What this does is this keeps this centered at all times, this piston, and it also makes it so the spring is always guided. It can never hit the spring or whatever. This is also probably a good one for the Alpha Trooper, but I came up with a good idea. The idea was simple. Oh yes, and I do wash my sheets every day after doing something like this. I usually alternate between two pairs of red sheets. I don't know why I like red, because the carpet's burgundy and it's just nice. I hate plain white sheets. Plus any little thing you get on there it is. So why do you do all this stuff on your bed? Well, first off, I live in a very small space. The bed's literally my couch. And second, it's just my lifestyle, man. I mean, honestly, there were videos where I didn't have my shirt on, things like that. People thought it was sick. Now be careful, very careful. You want to ream it, but you don't want to break the piston. Okay? This is an Xplorer piston. I'm pretty sure Xplorer would frown upon doing this. What I'm doing here is experimental. Oh, and something else I want to show you while I'm filing away at this. The R-Spec chassis. First off, look at the back there where I'm angling the piston downwards, but maybe there's something else you should really take a real good look at. That's brass. That's a 17/32 brass. How did I make it so the dot can fit in a 17/32 brass? Or even better, how did I make it so that a stock dart can fit in 17/32 brass? And as you can see with the Velcro here, I am adjusting the piston to shoot downward so that the hop of this is slightly upwards, because on this particular gun I'm having a lot of downward hop. Right off the bat it is aiming down. I've had a lot of problems with this on the R-Spec. I don't know why. Considering how much power this gun has and speed, and I'm sure you've seen videos where it's just hitting doors and objects and it's just slamming. Is it as powerful as an R-Spec Fire Strike? No, there's no way you're going to get that kind of power out of a repeater. But this promises to be a really good idea. Really good. You have to just evenly file. Now you've noticed I'm a very good machinist. Metals, composites, what have you. Okay, we're doing this as I'm going here. I may edit this video. I may not edit this video. I don't know. So here we are. Here we are. Remember that brass does stretch, but composite does not. The last thing you want to do is break it. Okay? And even strokes. This should take you a long time to do. Don't rush and go. No. Don't do that. Put an even amount of strokes so you keep your diameter even all the way around. Okay? As you see, I've done that. I've shrunken the outer diameter in this. Now, I had to do this once when I had my original version 1 Retaliator spring from Black Tactical. As you know, the interior diameter is 1/2 inch. Okay. There it is. It's enough to hold in there. Okay? There it is. Okay, before I put this beast back together, and I do mean beast. Okay, I do mean beast. This gun is a beast. It is nothing to be taken lightly. Okay, people could say that, oh yeah, right. But you're taking technology that, for example, oh, that's rounded on the inside. How did you do that? Don't attempt that unless you know gunsmithing. That you can put on a long strike made to do 300 feet per second, and I'm throwing it on a Retaliator. Now, that's not going to make a Retaliator do 300 feet per second. Anyone who's anyone will know, well, that's just not going to work. Except it does make a really nice gun that shoots in the 200s. High hundreds and low 200s. It does it is really nice to have just a really handy gun like this. However, I must denote, it's hard. It's hard to build one of these. It's not an easy gun to build. It's not an easy gun to maintain. It's a challenge. I know many people who have built Retaliators and they've had challenge. And they think, well, it's stupid. Why are you wasting all this time and effort on a Retaliator? Why not build a good homemade? Why not build a good long strike? Because I specialize in Retaliators, folks. I mean, let's put it this way. For the longest time, okay, people were building long strikes. When I first got into Nerf, there were all sorts of long strike mods. It's sort of like, been there, done that. Everybody's done it, okay? I mean, everybody has done something with a long strike. When I first got my hands on a long strike that I could mod, I keep doing that. Not long strike, long shot. So disrespectful to call it a long strike. Excuse me. Okay? I was like, wow, I wish that I got one of these earlier. However, everybody's modded a long shot. It's a great gun. It's awesome. I think that I wish very much that they would have designed it a little better as far as bolt sights go. And now you got Remedy Metals. You got Xplorer, making just awesome kits, great guns. I really would want to sign a petition to bring back the long shot, the Hasbro to remake them. I really want to go to their brass and say that, okay? But I'll be honest with you. You can go to a bunch of videos out there, and they will probably tell you better than I how to mod a long shot. Go to Castile Angel. He knows how to mod a long shot. Oh gosh, you should have heard his advice. Awesome advice. He knows how to PETG the barrel. He knows how to take a stock bolt sled and make it hold up. He knows how to bring down the vibration in the gun using a special kind of foam. Oh, I was talking to him on Skype, okay, because he's a good friend of mine, and well, maybe not a good friend, but he's a friend nonetheless. And I will tell you, man, kid's smart. And he's sharp looking, too. Have you guys ever seen his face? His glasses? He's got this whole, slick guy thing going on, man. He's gonna, I'm telling you, to the girls out there, he's gonna be Romeo. Oh, yes, he is. But, okay, now that I've embarrassed Castile enough. Sorry, bro. I just wanted to plug you again because, seriously, okay, there's lots of people out there that have built a long shot. Okay? And there's lots of people that have done it. I'm just specialized in a different breed of guns. Lots of people have gone to Home Depot and made some very awesome snap pulls, very awesome guns, but no one's modded a Fire Strike like I have, and very few people have modded a Retaliator like I have. You know what I'm saying? It's just my cup of tea, man. And I figure, the people that like handy guns, like I do, I just want to go blasting. The Retaliator has a certain place to it. Now, not guaranteeing anything, folks. I just put this together. I feel a lot of resistance there, but I think that's my seal. Okay? Okay. Now, I have not trimmed this yet. This gets trimmed after this, probably to about right there, to the full length back here. Now, put in mind, you have a stock back here, too. Okay? So, let's get a magazine, real quick. Okay. And you saw the brass tube in there, okay? Now there's the rounded one. I'm gonna put that there, down there. This is the one I'm feeding, the flat one. Blow test, okay. It can take pressure. I have to do that on my darts because I use such powerful darts that they do actually, freaking made a mistake. Loaded it backwards. SGNF has a good mod for that, which is just to take this and just file that in there. Easy, right? Easy. Just file that notch in there. So if you want the clips on the other side, there it is. Now there it is. Can you guys see that? Look at the dot. You see how I fed that in there? That's right. I have a trick that necks up the single piece of 17/32. Maybe I'll show you that later, but look at the tube. This is good, the long tube. Look how much dive it has, but way out here. This is actually a good way to prove this. This keeps this straight and true. Very powerful, folks. Very powerful. It felt very smooth too. Now it's gonna lock up on me right there. Why? Because the brass ends up going into the 6-rounders. I actually need to use a different magazine to do this. Okay. Okay. Nice lockup. Really beautiful. This really does affect the whole game right here. It really does. I have another trick that I use on this inside bolt. Is I actually take the O-ring. I put Teflon around that, but then I put another layer of 10 mil Teflon around that. And so what it does is it keeps the O-ring from sliding out. It's an interesting trick. I've never shown you guys. But this has too much mess right now, so I'm going to go file this down. But anyway, let me get a pen out. Okay. I want a little bit on there, but not much. Alright. You can barely see that, I know. I know. Gold brass, gold metallic pen. Stupid, right? Yeah, it is. I'm not going to argue with you. Yeah, it is. But I don't want to get up and get something else right now. Doing this on my gun. Stupid, eh? Yeah, it is. Especially on my modded Retaliator. Stupid, right? Yeah. You know what? Yeah, it is. But what's the big deal here? It's my gun. I can do what I want with it. If it were a customer gun, I wouldn't be doing any of this shit. But besides that, this gives me a nice even place to make a nice even cut on this brass. Now all you gotta do is score it, and then all the way around, and then notch it. Okay? Here, let me get more in. Okay? Now I did file this, and all I'm gonna do is fine file it after I'm done with this. Now the reason they don't have a full-length piston is because this has a little cap over there, and they were trying to make it compatible. As you notice, I take my caps off of a lot of these guns. It makes it easier to see what's going on, and if you have to fiddle around with the springs at all, it makes it easier to fix it. Now, would Mr. Heng approve of that, what I did with his piston? More likely not, no. But nonetheless, I want to say it. His piston did just fine. If an ABS part can do it, his can do it. You just got to use proper machining skills to neck it, and look at this. Look at this. This diameter. This diameter here. It's a little loose. That's okay. You want it a little loose. You don't want like so tight that you do that. The other thing the Ultra had was an experimental idea where I was going to use a full-size cap on here, and I really should have just used a Recon shell to do this, and I was going to put a nylon washer and then file it all around. It didn't work. Why? Why? Simple. It was just too tight. I was trying to make it too tight. What I realized after I had made that gun, which Kyle Pettigrew bought the other one and used it as parts on his, which had a metal bolt sled and a metal trigger catch, was simple. I should have just kept it the way it was. Sometimes you could do better than Hasbro, but sometimes you really got to sit there and say, well, wait a minute, I could do better. Maybe I can't do better than that. Maybe what Hasbro has is fine, and I should just build it. Now I'm trying to notch one of my ends here. Okay. One of my ends right here. Okay. Right here. Put in mind this takes quite a bit to do. Now you want to keep doing this until it's all the way through, and you've got maybe a 1/4 inch of brass. You're all the way through, like that. You guys see that? See that brass, that hole right there? Yeah. When that happens, you got notched all around. There you go. There it is. There it is. Okay. Now I'm going to take a fine file, and I'm going to file going outwards like that. I'm going to pick out all the sharp corners here. Alright, I can do some more precision work later. Put in mind this video is live. My videos are all live, and they are long. So, I know they're long. But I like to show things in action, so it's not cut. So there it is, first attempt on this gun. Put in mind I've done it on another gun before. There it is. You now have a piston guide rod for your Retaliators, or any gun that has an outtake like this, such as a Alpha Trooper, a Rampage, anything. You just got to remember, use a piece of 9/16 and throw it in there. Very simple. Very nice. Okay. And I'm still playing around with the brass bolt sled. Much nicer. Much nicer. This is one of the hardest guns to feed. If you guys saw that video where I was playing around with it when I was showing out the HVZ stuff, I had a lot of issues with the bolt sled with this gun. I mean, it was firing like gangbusters, but it was still not feeding the greatest. It's nice. Very nice. Well, anyway, this is Chris Cartea, and enjoy the ride. Peace, brothers. There you go. Peace. I didn't want half piece, I wanted full piece.